So good morning. We're starting with housekeeping as we do every morning. Let me check if I can. Oh, no. The point is, you need to check this every day, every week. Check my slides because here you have the complete past tasks list. Okay, and so every day, every week, you have the complete list of tasks. And so these tasks need to be already finished, or you need to be finishing them for to be added to the portfolio. So this will be the portfolio. I don't think we have any other task. The activity I will explain later today is the project, and it will be a part. But then you can also add it here just for a complete collection of your work. But that the project itself has a different grade. But these are the tasks that you're going to finish and copy and paste into the portfolio. Next week, we will have a revision class and we will revise the portfolio. So whatever you have done, you can share and ask me questions and share with the classmates so that everyone can see how to complete and can understand the explanations. So today, as usual, you have the forum participation. Remember that you always need to be ready to comment. We don't have many forums, but the forums we have, you need to have commented properly, commented also to the videos of your classmates. Then we will revise last week's writing. So I hope those that have not done it can do today, can start today, so that you can finish for tomorrow during the weekend. We have a long weekend, so you can do that for me to give you feedback. I will be checking, okay? Then we will see the last class, the last presentation, let us say, and the project presentation. This activity I am going to explain to you. Okay, so this, as you know, this is the participation grade. Remember, I always show you that how much does it count for, and I will be uploading this final grade by the end of the semester, so you have time to complete all of the participations. So until that moment, by the end of the semester. So I have time to read all of your participation in the forum. Okay. And then that grade will go to the SGC, the complete grade. So always remember that the oral exposition also has a forum comment from classmates. Then the writing workshop, and this is another step in the evaluation system of the class, of the module, and therefore it is okay that you keep on sending me the drafts for me to give you feedback, so that next weekend, not this weekend, the following one, I can start uploading final grades. Okay, we are behind with this evaluation just because we needed to change and reschedule. So that is why. And that is what we were talking about last week. Yes, that's the last section of Unit 2, Stories of Hope. And remember, we were discussing about creative writing. Creative writing expresses original ideas, original writing. So all of the books that we have been working with are products of creative writing. So, and you have been doing this in school for sure, creating a story or just creating some sketches to act, to role play with your classmates. And all of those belong to this genre of creative writing. It's different from academic writing because it is, well, because as we say, it is creative. You make things up. So you are inspired in your imagination, yes, and you express your feelings and emotions. But when we write in academia, we write only facts, yes, a discussion of the work of the storybook, for example, but we don't create anything new, yes, with imagination and feelings. That's why I thought one task of creative writing was good for you. It would be good also for your students as a follow-up for students in elementary school, because that will motivate them to be creative. And we have here Vanessa. Vanessa wrote her follow-up writing activity. Can you tell us, Vanessa, what did you do? We have here some...
The process or...
yes, what did you do? How did you decide? And what did you decide to do?
I choose a book, sorry, and I choose the one I don't like and change the final because I don't like it. And I thought that could be better, and so for that I changed the final or the ending.
Yes, exactly. So that is a great idea. So your students will love that. Yes, would love that that possibility to have a different ending. They will surely love that idea, and they will surely be creative. Yes, they can change because they don't like it, or probably see the opposite. What if the carrot seed doesn't grow? Yes, for example, what happens in that situation? And students 10-year-olds and older can really enjoy such an idea, okay? Pre-adolescents in ages 12, 13 would love that because they like to think to be contrary to the current situation. So if you tell them, if you tell them, well, what about the opposite? What about a situation in which the carrot seed doesn't grow? And that would be challenging for them because that's different from reality. It's the opposite from what happened in the story. Okay, and here we discussed some of the possibilities we have, yes, with writings to extend and demonstrate your interpretation of a story or students' interpretation and creativity. And we said that there were writings that were more analytic, yes, but others are more creative, and that's okay. I really encourage you to write something creative, like, for example, change the ending of the story or change the settings, but keep the story, keep the message, but change the characters and the setting. So you can do many things with that same story, or challenge your students with something that did not happen. So the carrot seed grew in the end, but what if the carrot seed didn't grow? What if the llama doesn't find her mother? That's what happened in that situation. So for older students in elementary school, that would be very challenging, and probably they would like that, and they would be creative. So this slide here is for you to remember the process, and it is good to learn to write in a process, because you go through steps, and you feel more confident. Yeah. And here we had the list of activities. So Krishna and Javiera, did you decide what are you going to do as a follow-up writing activity? We said that these ones were the more creative ones, yes? The last ones. We will change colors, okay? So, for example, description of the main character's physical appearance, feelings, dreams, hopes for the future. It's a little bit creative, it's in the middle. Writing a dialogue between characters, and you can be creative there. Yes, what are the dialogues between the characters? If you have, for example, in the carrot seed, you have the mother, the father. What do they say about the boy? That would be creative. Then they can change the ending. Vanessa also told me she changed a little bit at the beginning. So she wrote like a different story inspired in the original one. You can write a new story on a similar theme or message, yes. And we have different messages. We said what we discussed what the message was. Do you remember? The message is this moral, yes, that the story wants to transmit. And it probably can be reduced to one word, like hope, for example, stories of hope, we said. So hope is what the llama has, hope is what the boy in the carrot seed has. So you can write another story based on the same theme or message, the message of hope, encouragement, yes, perseverance. All of those messages can be in another story. Or you can write a poem. Those that are more creative can write a poem and do it right and be very, very creative there. Any other ideas that you have to do with creative writing? Which are these ones, these options? If you have any other idea, you can do. Whereas these options are more analytic, we said. Yes, we said that we have possibilities. Where was it? So we had more analytic possibilities and more creative. So the last ones are more creative, whereas the first ones are more analytic. If I write a book report, I write about the facts. Do you remember the elements of narration that we revised last week? We talk about the plot, the characters, the message, but it's an analysis, yes, of a book. Or also when you write about the author, because the author is important, as Dr. Seuss, for example, he is a specialist in writing books for children. So that's also an academic writing, yes, a kind of analytic writing. Also the story message, yeah, the story's message. And in that sense, you will also be writing about a fact from the book. If the message is hope, well, you write about that topic. An epilogue is very similar. Yes, it's like a reflection on the message of the story. And the newspaper, well, you know, the newspaper article or magazine is also an analytic writing, very similar probably to the book report, in which you describe the book, the contents, the characters, the message in an academic way. So have you decided? What are you going to do? So Vanessa shared, she did the creative writing, she changed the ending of the story and some other elements in the story. And to make it more powerful, I will give feedback on that. And you, what did you think you can do, Phoebe? You can write as well. Here you have them.
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, Phoebe. Which of these options of follow-up writing are you going to do with a story? Remember, this is last week's.
I thought A new story on a similar theme.
On?
Sí. A new
On what?
story on a similar theme. Them.
Phoebe, I cannot hear you.
No.
No.
Uh,
On?
a new story
A new
before
story.
the poem. Yes.
Ah, yes, a new story. Excellent. So a new story, you can inspire yourself in any of the stories or not. If you have any other idea, which is new, wonderful. Remember the elements. Yes, the elements. Do you remember we did the class work about elements of the story? So you need the characters, the setting, the plot.
Yes.
The conflict. Okay. A message. All right. You know all of that. Go back to those slides and you can write your own story. Wonderful. Wonderful. But remember, I need to give you feedback because that's the last task. I know because that has a special grade. Remember, sorry, I was confused. You have a special grade. Yes. So it is outside. It's outside of the portfolio. So, but I need to grade it separately. Then you can put it in the portfolio just for a collection. But I need to give a grade. Okay, Javiera, if you cannot speak, you can write in the chat. Or Krishna, if you're there. If you have any ideas, if you need help. So I will show you in Educandos. So while you think, I will check Educandos. Okay, it's here. Okay, we have, no. Oh, Educandos is closed. Okay, it is here. All right. Okay, here we have Javiera, alternate ending. Perfect. Perfect. Everything, there's no right or wrong. This is creative, remember? Mostly will be creative, but you can do something analytic. It's okay as well. Okay, look, this is week 12, and the task is here by the end. Okay, formative feedback. I need to write here. So you know that this is not the final version, it's only for feedback, for the first revision, okay? So you know you will have an opportunity to revise and rewrite. Yes, so you will see how it is done. So the title will say here, formative feedback. And you know this is not the final. Whenever I have the final version, I will write it clearly there. Yes, okay. All right, so this is for you to bear in mind. Next, if you have any other question to ask me about this topic, okay, the rubric, I will also upload the rubric, the complete rubric. Sorry about that. Sorry. But you know, here you have the general descriptor, and then you have the levels. You know, there are levels. But this is the general description of the maximum level you have to reach for you to have an idea, a guidance. Okay, that will also be uploaded. And I will have time to correct once everything is uploaded, the final versions are uploaded. And that, I think, will be probably the following weekend. Okay, so here it is. This is what I'm talking about. These are the descriptors of the maximum level for evaluation criteria. And I think I will have time next weekend, so you still have time to write your drafts. Remember the process. So we are still so we're probably you're pre-writing, you're thinking of the elements, doing the draft, and waiting for the revision. So we need to finish that this weekend, girls, because you have to do something else. So pay attention that we don't have so much time. We are counting just a few weeks to the end, okay? Do you follow? Girls?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we are just on time to finish correctly. Okay. So this is the last unit, teaching literature to children, recognizing activities that integrate the 4 language skills. And here we have the famous project work in which you will work with your classmates, in which students develop an integrated activity using a children's narration book. And I will show you this by the end. You will make up your minds which story and everything there. Okay, so and we are concentrating on the teaching strategies. Remember standard 4, because we need to implement strategies. So now it's your creative task as well in creating strategies and all of those techniques that you have learned in the module to read, to complete this reading aloud activities with children. And that is what Vanessa has been asking me in the last exercise of each task. I used to write and explain to you that you needed to think of one element for this project. Yes, for the project I'm talking about here. And that means you were putting together these strategies to do a reading aloud activity with children, as if you were going to do it in a classroom, in a real classroom. We will be able soon, do not worry. Then all of this knowledge will be expanded in future modules, in next year, for example, and then in the practicum. So everything you do is useful. Remember, you keep all of your ideas, and we will be able to carry out in reality soon. Next year, hopefully. Okay, so you have heard about the integration of skills, and you know the 4 skills, don't you? Do you know them? Yes, for sure. Which are the 4 skills? What do you remember from? Which are they? Come on, have you heard?
Reading.
Reading, what else?
Listening.
Listening. Yes, those are receptive skills. Yes, reading, listening, and then you have?
Speaking and writing, or not?
Speaking.
And writing?
And writing. Those are productive skills. Okay, yes, with different orders, those are the skills. And remember, there is some, so for sure, integration of the 4 skills has been in place for a long time when teaching, but of course we have had some segregation of skills. So what is integration? Putting everything together, yes? The same as in Spanish, what is integrating? Similar to Spanish.
Integrar.
Integrar, integración, integrar, claro, integración. So everything, teach everything together. But of course, there have been some situations in which the skills were segregated, separated, yes. And you have this, for example, with adults, when adults attend reading comprehension courses, for example, in which they mainly develop reading, but just because of special needs, or for example, conversation classes, just because that's very specific. But in general, we have integration of skills, especially in schools. So this is what you're going to find in schools mainly, and hopefully you will find it. So which activities do you think integrate the 4 skills in the classroom? Just
Some interactive activity.
interactive activities, yes. For example, interactive activities. And we have seen lots of videos since we haven't been to school, but when you were at school, for example, like role playing. Role playing was probably the last activity, but for that you needed to read on something, probably, I don't know, something about holidays, yes, some vocabulary. Then you needed to write the dialogue. Then you needed to listen to videos, and then you needed to speak and play the role play in which you went on holidays to the beach and you went to the hotel, for example, on holidays. All of those situations that we create in schools tend to be interactive and tend to join the 4 skills together. And you practice a little bit of everything. And with reading and reading aloud, this is also possible. And sometimes we think mostly the children we have seen are listening, but they're not only listening. We have seen many videos and children do something else also, apart from listening in read alouds. So this is what you will think about. Yes, and why is it a benefit? Why is this good? Why do you think? Speaking and writing. Writing and speaking. The order. Why do you think this is good to do these activities at school? Why are they positive? Why? How is the language spoken in reality, for example? Do we separate the skills?
They are a complement.
Yeah, so they complement. Yeah, so we teach the skills in a complementary way. Yes, of course. And this is more realistic. Yes, and this is more realistic because this is how we act in everyday life. Yeah. So we are constantly listening, speaking, reading, and writing. We are now you're reading, then you speak, you listen, you speak. So we're constantly using the skills in an integrated way. And this is what school classrooms try to replicate from reality. Yes. So that's why students are generally exposed to different skills. And here we have just few minutes of this video, which is a read aloud. And I liked it very much because there you can see. Check what you can see. You will see what you can see. And then you can watch it completely. But wait. So this is a teacher and the students. And
Strategies that helps us to understand what we're reading is asking questions. So as we read, we wonder about things and we start questioning before we've even started reading a book. So today we're going to look at a book at the beginning before we start reading it. We're going to look at that same story as we read or during our reading, and then we're going to look at the book at the end. And we're going to ask I wonder questions all the way through. You have a clipboard and 3 different sticky notes. So before we start reading, we're going to use our blue sticky note. During our story, we're going to use our green sticky note. And after we're finished reading our story, we're going to use the large yellow sticky note. While you look at the cover of the book, you're going to immediately have questions in your head that you wonder about. Use your blue sticky note to write down whatever you're wondering. Take a look at the pictures, but also take a look at the title or any words that you see. Turn to the person beside you and share your question.
I wonder why his name is Super Ponus. I wonder why he's flying.
All right. Okay, so then you can could you see and could you watch and listen? Carol, could you
Yes,
watch and
teacher,
listen?
we can. Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay. So now we so let us look at this one again. Okay. So just a few minutes, and there you can see lots of skills. What do you see of the skills? Which skills can you see? Okay, we have here the questions. So the book they are going to read is Superpotamus. That's the book. And what activities can you see in the video? In the video, so.
Asking questions.
So students ask questions. Ask questions, or what do they do exactly? Skills. Which skills?
Speaking.
So they write. Yeah. Questions about the story, about what is the story? It's a pre-reading, yeah, strategy. What is the story going to be about? My questions about. Yes. What else do they do? But first of all, what do they do first?
Tell each other.
Yes, so they do that afterwards. Yes, students talk to each other. Yes, students talk to each other about their predictions for the story. Yes, predictions. The story. Okay, so immediately we see students, but what are they doing first? So they write, they speak, yes, they talk to each other, and what do they do first? What are they doing first? What do they do at the beginning? In order to understand the instructions and do things, what do they do?
Wonder.
Huh? What do they do?
Wonder questions.
Yes, they think. Yes, they think of I wonder questions. Yes. But also, what do they do first before thinking of the questions and writing about the questions? Listen. Aren't they listening? To the teacher.
Ah, yes.
Yes, of course. It's so obvious. We do not mention it, but it is. So imagine whenever next year you go to the classrooms, you will see this everything. Everything will be important to pay attention to. And so immediately there in few minutes, these children are developing all of the skills. And then it comes the reading, of course, and since they are in eighth graders, they can read by themselves. They can listen to the teacher read, but they can read by themselves as well. So in a very few minutes, you can practice all of the skills. And this is what you do and teachers do in classrooms every day, what you did in schools as well. So nevertheless, there are many other activities in which, as we said, the skills can be separated or some more strengthened than others. But this is the ideal development of classes. And we do this in Spanish, in English, as a foreign language, even classes in Spanish. Just because this is realistic, that's what we do in everyday life. And the life in schools, generally, all of the classrooms go like this, yes? If you're in history, in geography, you also accomplish all of these tasks or similar ones, and you develop your skills in your mother tongue and also probably in a foreign language. So therefore, I wrote some. I want to ask you more here. Which do you think are the benefits or what's the characteristics of integrated skills activities or segregated skills activities? So as we said, adults in universities, for example, we have a lot of segregation of skills. Many careers, for example, can have English modules that are only dedicated to reading, just because they need to learn to read in English. Medical schools, for example, around the world, need to develop English, but just because what they mostly need is to read in English. And therefore, in those situations, for very specific purposes, and it is called like that, ESP, English for specific purposes, skills are segregated. So there in medical schools, it's not important whether the students will probably write so much in English or speak so much in English, though they might need it, but they need to read, and they need to read all of the articles that come up because of COVID-19 and that come up every day about the follow-ups and the investigations being done. So they need to read. That's the most important skill. But that is a limited practice, yes, with a target language. Just because just, for example, if they read, but probably they do not have anyone to speak to about this, and therefore skills are developed in a very unbalanced way. Also, it's artificial. Yes, it is artificial. It's not natural. So you might have, for example, medical doctors that know how to read a lot, but if they go to a conference in the United States, they cannot speak so much, and they would tell you, no, I don't speak English, but they can understand a lot of English. So that's not realistic. It's not natural, but that's what happens mostly with adults that speak, that need English for very specific purposes. Whereas integrated skills is more natural. We try to develop that in schools. Young children, adolescents learn like this because it's natural. Skills are balanced, and they learn the language, and this allows to practice the language more. Yeah. So this would be the ideal situation. Do you have any other idea why? What is the characteristics of these two? Integration of skills. Yeah, so
I don't know yet.
yes, but in general, I think we have said, yes, it's more natural, it's more, gives a possibility to be balanced, to do more with the language than just only if you read, if you learn to read and understand reading, but you cannot speak, for example. There you find yourself, or yes, I am not doing things I cannot learn. So yesterday, the mother of a friend wrote to me from my country, asking me for conversation classes. This is the example, yes? And adult people think, well, this is missing, you know, this is missing. So I'm going to do conversation classes. But in reality, if they don't practice the skills in integration, probably they will feel they don't learn much, yes? So that can also happen with adults. They think that if they speak, if they only learn to speak, well, they know the language, but that's not really true. And so, but that can happen, and that can happen also in your lives in the future. So therefore, I am a proponent of integration of skills. But since you're thinking of a project, yes, for children, what do you think is more appropriate? Since remember, you are thinking of your project. So what would you do with the children? Teach them only to read or teach them in integration?
In my opinion, would be integration.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. And since they are very young, because you might have children that cannot read, for example, remember that even in the mother tongue, in Spanish, in the case of Chile, students are already exposed to letters, yes, to letters of the alphabet since since they are in preschool, and therefore they are learning already some basics of reading. So in the first grade, for example, they already know the letters, they know some words, and the more exposure they have to words, they start reading. So even when reading is very, very simplistic, just reading words, the names of things in the classroom, door, window, all of those things, it's already an exposure to reading. And therefore you're exposing them to reading and writing, since you're exposing them to the letters, to how letters are put together. So since very young children are exposed to learning the skills. And that is how they learn in the mother tongue as well. And they learn this in Spanish as well. Yes, you know that when they are 5 years old, they can write their names. They know how to put letters together. They might get confused at some point, but in generally they can. This is the beginnings of reading and writing. Okay, so this is something that is not foreign to them. So integration of skills is the best way, even at the levels that they can. Yes, they might not read the complete book, but they can understand certain words and know how the letters are together. Of course, that's why the teacher needs to decide, yes, which words are they going to teach, in which order. And for example, Dr. Seuss books are special for that, since they try to expose children to adjectives, colors, numbers, and so you can begin there, and that's a safe path in case you think of that. So when thinking of the project, and this is what Vanessa has been asking me, in every task, you have a little bit to think about the final project, to put all the elements together. And this is the last element, yes? We integrate skills. So our project is not only the students are going to speak. No, they're going to listen to the reading. No, they can do something else. And the more they put together skills, or you develop the skills together, the better for them. So in the project, in the project, this final project will include a little bit of the elements we have seen along the whole semester. So what can you read here? What is it that you're going to do? So you're going to design an activity in which elementary school students must read, write, speak, and listen. Remember all of the skills. Must listen, read, speak, and write. Well, okay. I will write them in another way. So listen, read, speak, and write. I like that order best. But anyway, there's no special order. You know that probably writing comes to the end, probably. But okay. Listen, read, speak, and write based on the literature method. That is what we're doing, yes, in this class. So, or try to teach you to think that you can teach a language through literature. So you will pay attention to the following. First of all, you will decide on your strategy to transmit simple literary narrations. And you have seen examples of this. The interactive
Teacher?
read aloud. Yes, Vanessa?
I have a question.
Yes.
And the task 4, I thought
Mm-hmm.
that only you have two options: interactive read aloud and storytelling with a small
Yes,
object.
yes. Because storytelling is similar. Yes, it's interactive read aloud. Yes, it's very similar. Or storytelling can be just tell the story. That would be the
And
more
then
neutral one, Vanessa, if you want to think about that. It's like
what?
neutral. It's like just reading. We have seen examples of this as well. It's just reading and doing using some of the techniques. But remember that interactive is very specific. Students need to interact with the teacher and for example, predict what's going to happen, make noises, stand up and do something related to the story. Yes?
But
So it's a little bit special.
I have another question.
Yes.
How we can do it if we are here? I mean, Zoom.
We are not in, yes, we are not in face-to-face, so we will discuss that in a moment. You can do it live by doing it and your classmates watching you in the camera, or a short video, but we will discuss in a minute. So the read aloud, as Vanessa asks, is the most neutral of the read alouds. You have some examples of that. The teacher reads, the students listen, but mostly do not participate. Interactive, and that is where interactive appears as something different, in which students are really participative. They are asking questions, commenting with classmates, doing something, responding to the teacher, doing some kind of action. And the storytelling with the small objects, you saw Professor Carla looking for objects and like animating the different characters in the story with different objects. You can also have puppets. What you have many more ideas, but I think those are the ones around which you can choose. But if you want to use puppets, for example, instead of small objects, can also be. Imagine you have the puppets of the characters of the book and be puppets, yes, that speak and carry out the actions. All right, so that's one of the elements that we saw. The other elements, well, we'll be creating the teaching resources, the materials. And remember, you did this last semester also when you read the story you had chosen, but you had some materials. You had the characters, or you had a poster. And you did this already in your oral presentation. You did some advances of this. Some of you said we're going to create a giant carrot, bring seeds, carrot seeds to school. And there are many other possibilities in which you have to create the resources to teach the students. And the most simple ones, the posters, the flashcards with words and pictures. What else can you think of? Resources, materials. What else can be material? Puppets. Yes, elements to represent the characters. What else? I think
A
we
game?
have... Yes, Vanessa?
Could be a game.
Games, yes, of course. Games, videos. All of those form part of the whole list of materials that teachers need in order to carry out an activity. Yes, you are creative, you know, all of many more. For example, some teachers brought real stuff, like for example the carrot seeds. So one of the teachers we watched brought the soap to wash clothes, because the story was about washing clothes. So that is also realia. So real objects related to the story. Okay. Then you apply the reading strategies, and we worked a lot with the strategies, repeated them a lot. You have this teacher in this video also paying attention to pre-reading, while reading, after reading strategies. And you created wonderful videos about the topic of strategies. So you know about them, you choose them. Some strategies you need to use. Yes, of course, you guide the students with questions, predictions, vocabulary, all of the ones you know. Then you also apply the techniques. And remember, we have a task with the techniques. Task 2 is about techniques, or 3, I don't know, 3, I think. Because the standards is the first task, but these are the rest of tasks. Yes, the reading strategies, then you have the techniques. Remember that you can adapt your voice, bring noises, what else? I don't know, your pronunciation, your pacing while reading, changing your voice, as I said. All of these techniques that make the reading more engaging, motivating for children, so that they don't lose attention. Remember that they lose their attention very quickly. So all of them you need to think, and you have them in a task. So you read there and you copy. Then you also need to think of the structure and the elements of the story. And we saw the story of Daisy. Remember, I don't like peas. And in which if you read such a story or any other, you can also use a structure or the elements, yes, who are the characters for an analysis. I mean, who are the characters of the story, the setting, the theme, the conflict, the resolution of the conflict. So that can be also used with little children as well, yeah? So that they start noticing that in reading literature, they have to pay attention to these elements, symbols that appear in the story. And then a follow-up activity like the one you have to do with your writing, you can also implement that with students. Do some kind of follow-up creative activity. It can be a writing. If students cannot write, it can be something else. You had wonderful ideas about planting seeds, and doing drawings. They can do a dramatization, a role play. Think of many things little children can do, even when they don't write. Yes, but if you're talking to pre-adolescents, then they are more able to write. So it depends on the age. Okay, and what are you going to do? So I have the outline here, but I'm going to show it to you. So you have an outline that I'm going to upload. and I'm going to show you in a minute. I only need to find it. And that is what the new document with which you're going to write to work. This one. Okay. Okay. So here you have your activity plan. Can you all see this?
Yes, we can see.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yes, Vanessa? So this is the integrated activity for elementary school students, okay? And this is an activity plan. This is for you to think and write all the elements, because then you have to carry out the activity, okay? So you write your names, your date, the grade, if it is first grade, second grade, fifth grade, age, yes, if it is 6 years old, 12-year-olds. Then the title, children narration book title. So I missed the word title. I will write it down. Title. The title. Okay. So analyze if the book, the age the students need to be for that book, and how they can profit from that. And the objective. And this is something you also did in the task. Yes, remember that explanation we did about writing objectives for language activities, and in which we said we needed a action verb. Yes, an action verb. This was explained. We did this and we revised this, but we can revise again. You need an action verb plus the content. Do you remember this? Girls, do you remember?
Not much.
Lexical, vocabulary patterns. Do you remember? Okay. So we are going to watch the videos, or you have all of the PowerPoints. This was explained, but for example, if we were writing an objective now, which verb and the story is the carrot seed, or blue fish, one fish, two fish. So this book, one fish, two fish, Krishna's favorite. Two fish, blue fish. I think this is a yellow fish. Is it? Oh, something like that. Okay, yellow fish. Okay. Now we will write an objective. We know it is for very young children. So, which will be our action verb? Come on, brainstorm. Think of a verb. Think of an action verb. It cannot be a verb like learn. No. No. Like. No. Action. Which is an action verb in teaching. Which can it be? Which verb can you use? What do you do? Here, yeah, they are. Okay. I found it is PPT 7 and 9, week 7 and week 9. Okay. Which are the verbs that we use? Action verbs. Yeah. Oh, this was like 2 years ago. No, it was some weeks ago, girls. So. What do you think? So we can say describe, yes? So are we describing fish? Yes, we happen to describe fish. Okay, I can choose. You need to analyze. That's why the teacher needs to do this analysis. Okay, describe, excellent, describe. What what content?
The colors.
Pardon?
Colors or no?
That would be the vocabulary. What are we describing?
Fish.
Fish. Fish, and there are other creatures as well, not only fish. That book is, and other creatures, because I am not sure whether they are animals or it's just, yes, so fantastic creatures. Yes, excellent. By using
Teacher?
which elements of language? Oh, we're on, yes, yes.
How is a fish in plural?
Fish. Fish is it's a special word. Yes, I will explain fish. Wait a minute. So then we need the lexicon grammar patterns, and there it is where we need to write the element of language, whether I want a structured, structural elements, something about grammar, something about vocabulary. What are we going to write there? With the fish. Describe fish and sea creatures, fantastic creatures. By what are you
Present.
using? Yes, with the present simple. But also we have adjectives. We have blue, yellow, red. Yes, small, big, large, short, long. Yes, those are qualifying adjectives. Yes, so we have it there. Okay, so do you remember that we saw this? Do you remember?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
If you remember, we did this.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
¿se me cruzan los cables?
yes, we need to revise a little bit. But nevertheless, we will continue with objectives. But for this activity, you have to think of an objective. Okay? Clear. Okay. So this is an example. Okay. Then we go further, and we have that this is the literature-based method within communicative language teaching. And we will choose one of the strategies. Yes, and we will write it here. So we will do interactive read aloud. And we will write here. Then
Teacher,
again,
we see the PPT.
children narration books title. Sorry, I keep on forgetting this. Yes.
We see the PPT.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, but the PowerPoint.
Okay. So here. Okay, so this is the example, as I was saying. Yes, the objective. And then we start writing all of the elements that we have chosen. So here we have the teaching approach, which is the communicative language teaching. We're going to continue analyzing this in the next year. But within that, we have the literature-based method. And then we will choose the strategy, whether it's going to be just storytelling or interactive read aloud, or the storytelling with small objects. I would choose and write here. Then the name of the narration book, yes, as we said before, but also the name of the author and illustrator. Remember that every person that we find reading a book says the name of the book and the authors and everything. And the environment, how are you going to collaborate and keep inclusion and collaboration? So remember that your future teachers, you need to take into account your students, also your co-teacher. Yes, you work together and share the the tasks. Or you write here. Who is going to do what? How are you going to present? Both of you need to present, of course. All right. Then we have the contents of the activity. So again, the objective of the activity needs to be written again. Then how are you going to prepare a warm-up element for that activity? How are you going to introduce the activity? Remember, you have activities to do to warm up, revise some vocabulary, make them, I don't know, do some exercises, whatever you want. Then how are you going to motivate them? Probably you show them the book, a video, a song, do some acting, anything. Then the instructions you're going to give the students. Remember, it's one activity. Yes, for example, think of the teacher. She tells the students, you're going to think of what if questions and write them down. So the instructions. Check the videos, and the videos you have the instructions that teachers produce. And how do you end the activity? You end up the activity by writing, coloring, presenting something, doing a role play, whatever you like. So you think, you plan everything. Then how are you going to apply the strategies? Yes, remember pre-reading strategies for the warm-up, follow-up strategies for the end of the activity. We're going to do a play, plant a seed, do something. Yes, here, the strategy. Then which techniques are you going to use? Are you going to use, for example, each of you is going to be a character and you're going to change your voices. You're going to use sound effects, remember? And someone came to the door. Who is there? Okay, so you decide on all of those effects to make this interesting for the students, yes? So those are as if you were in the cinema, for example. In the cinema, you have the sound effects. And if there is a very terrifying part of the movie, there is a scream, ah, someone shouted, or what. All of these effects, you need, or it was raining and you make the sound of the rain. So all of these are techniques that you use to capture the attention of students. Sounds, as I said, change of voices, the most common ones. Then you also need to pay attention to something of the structure. You can work with the students in, for example, with the characters or with the conflict. What happens first? What happens second? How is the resolution of the story? Some elements here. And then you need to have a follow-up activity. What are you going to do after? Are you going to write, paint, draw, act? Do something, yes? Always something after reading and after the activity. Then how are the students going to interact? Are they going to work together in groups, in pairs, only with a teacher? You decide that. And the materials. As we said before, which materials do we need? Do we need puppets, elements, books, only books, paper, video, whatever. Pictures, posters, everything you already know. And then you have some questions for reflection about this activity.
The reflection individual or group?
No, this is a project. This is in pairs.
Okay.
So you're working in the pairs. I'm going to show you. So this can be finally included in the portfolio for a collection of everything. So you don't lose, and do not lose that whole document, because we will need it in following modules. All right. So I want to keep everything there. And but this will have a separate grade, remember, because that is part of the another evaluation, let's say. But everything is part of your work, and I want you to keep everything together, not to lose the pieces, yeah, not to have the pieces scattered. But look at this. So this corresponds to the project group evaluation. So you're working with someone else. We have been talking about that. These are the groups I have. And Romina, for example, I don't have your who are you going to work with? So please, can you send me a message, or you can text me? Tell me who are you going to work with, so I have that accomplished. Then Lucia, no, Lucia's going to work alone. Rocio, and I told her to connect to Laura, so to see if they can work together in something that they need to finish from before. Emilia, I know she's working. She needs to work alone or connect with me in some way so that I can help her, or she can work with someone during the weekends. But girls, we don't have so much time. I can wait for you during this weekend, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Right? That will be in 2 weeks' time. But we really do not have so much time. Remember, we needed to pack many things, compact many things. Okay, so this is your time to ask questions. Think of questions, because we have to come to agreements.
I have, but can be in Spanish for my better
Okay.
understanding.
It's fine. Okay.
Al momento, sí, eso también iba a decir. Y, por ejemplo, el proyecto es como lo mismo que hicimos la vez pasada, usando los tiempos, por ejemplo, los momentos de lectura.
Claro, exacto. Pero esta vez, Vanessa, ya no es una presentación. Yo voy a hacer esto, esto se puede hacer, o esto. Sino ahora es hacerlo.
Es como una clase.
La actividad, exacto. Okay, this is the boy, and planted a seed, and you do the story. You tell the story, yes? And you do the actions. Oh, this is the llama, and this is her friend, I don't know, the swan. And you do all of the actions, and you tell the story. This is the different thing now. Well, you can read the story and add all of the other elements that you already know. Yes, you have all of these. That's why you have different options how to tell the story. And now it's your decision. And you are 2 people, so you can take turns. So both of you read a section and you add the elements.
Profe,
Yes,
por ejemplo,
the previous time it was individual, so it was a little bit more demanding. You see? But the story, do you think you can tell the story in collaboration with someone? Yes, girls, ¿es posible de hacerlo en colaboración?
Sí, porque se supone que no es pareja, entonces tenía la duda de, por ejemplo, si elegimos la lectura interactiva, tendríamos que preguntar al aire, como hacer como preguntas, pero al aire, porque nadie nos va a responder, a menos que uno se haga de niño o de estudiante.
Claro, exacto. Sí, por supuesto, se entiende que es una, claro, sí es una, necesitamos el interlocutor. Sí, puede ser al aire. Algunas chicas el semestre pasado consiguieron a los hermanitos.
Yo no tengo.
The possibility, yes, por eso, sí, no siempre tenemos. Además, no siempre los niños quieren participar. So be careful in that as well. But it's a possibility, yes. Or if not, the question. So we try to, okay, as if you were asking a question and someone answering them.
Simular una clase en realidad.
Yes, it's a simulation. Yes, because we don't have any other way to do it live. So the original idea of the class is that the module was to do it in schools. finish the module with school, in schools, with children, which is ideal. It's very ideal today. Yeah, so this is what we have, the possibilities we have. Yeah. So I'm going to show you some things. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you the PowerPoint again. So think of more questions you might have. No, this one. So you have the activity, you have the and this is a complete the activity plan. So it's a kind of micro teaching. We change it. It's a kind of project. We call it project. Yes, project agreements. So this is you complete the activity plan and upload it for feedback to the corresponding task on Educando's week 13. This week. The time limit for the activity is no longer than 7 minutes. Is that okay? Do you think that works?
I think so. But and I don't know, many of the story are longer.
Longer, yes, and that's okay. Some of your videos were between 5, 7, 8 minutes. It's not a problem. You can work around that.
Okay.
Prepare. So the activity, the time for the activity is around 7 minutes, but it can be a little bit more. It's not a problem. Okay. Then Romina is working with Vania, which is excellent. Romina, thank you very much. I'm going to write it here before. So I communicate with the rest. Yeah. Okay. So take you out of Rocio, I might communicate with her. So she can work with Laura. All right. Perfect. Around 7 minutes. You prepare, then you will prepare after you have the activity organized. I say, okay, you can do it. You prepare yourselves and the activities for the video. You include all the necessary support. Yes, you create your materials. Remember, but you can include also videos, images, pictures, plus all the materials you need. Okay. Then your participants, the participants in the pairs or groups are required to participate equally in the project video. Okay, so remember that both of you are participating. Yes, it's equal participation. That's why one section of the plan explicitly speaks or asks you to say, how are you going to collaborate? Which some people are better with, for example, software. Okay, so Vanessa is going to dedicate to the software, but she will also read the story or do the puppets, or you have to divide your tasks, your duties. Yes, what are you going to do to work together? Then the software, and you know how to use them. These are only suggestions. Then it will be uploaded, I would say, from the 18th, is week 15, yes, week 15, from 18th December to, let us say, week, 15 week 16. Yes. In between the 18th of December from to December 18 to the following week 23rd. Yes, before Christmas, and we are girls, and I need to grade. You see,
Teacher.
There's no more time. Yes.
So it's between 18 and 22?
This is a Friday. This is a Friday, and you have a whole weekend until next week. Yes.
Okay.
let us say, or between the 17th, which is our class, let us think that you're doing something else before, yes, other modules. So the 17th is our class. So you know that you need to work on this project, okay? So you have 2 weeks there, and the weekend in the middle, so you have more time. Then you will have a supervisor's checklist that I'm going to upload there, and the supervisor's checklist looks very similar to this. I need some changes, but just to show you how it looks. Okay, it's very similar to what supervisors use in schools when observing the students, something like this. So you have the grades, the levels, yes, you know this, and some comments. Okay. Okay, so that will be your evaluation for the project. Okay. What else? What else? Okay. And no. And you will no. The classmates comments, yes. The classmates comments will account on to the corresponding forum, yes. Forum on Educandos will account for your participation grade. Remember, this is the last grade I will upload, so you have time to elaborate your comments and upload them to the videos, to this activity. Okay, so I think these are good agreements. Anyway, we are going to revise them next Thursday. This is like a heads up. I was thinking of commenting about this next Thursday, but next Thursday we will revise everything. I wanted to have your ideas already ready so that I can give you feedback and you can start working on the video, on the project itself. Is that clear? People of the world, can you hear me?
I lost in the last part.
Which part? So this is, we will check next week. The important thing now is that you finish, is that you think of the activity, yes? For feedback. Yes?
Which one activities? All of them?
No, this activity we have explained for the project. Complete the activity for the project, yes?
Okay.
The rest we will see. We will meet next week and we keep on revising. But this is the beginning of this. It's important for you now. Okay, Vanessa? Okay, now.
Teacher, so
let us check
the last questions, I mean.
Yes.
What is finally, what is the deadline of the portfolio?
Portfolio. Yes. We did. Oh, that was in another video, in another class. I will check. Vanessa, and I will tell you. I will write down anyway. What did we say? Portfolio next week. Let us say the 11th or 12th. I don't remember. The 12th, the 11th, next week. You have the complete week next week to finish.
Friday?
Yes? 11th. Yes, I need to revise them, remember? I have to read a lot. So next week, the whole of next week will be to finish portfolios. Okay, we will write here. So we have the agreement. So we will meet next class. Yes, you need to finish the assignments, everything. Now you are at this point in which you need to, all of the tasks need to be finished. Yes? and you include them in the portfolio. You have the whole next week. Yes, so portfolio due 11th December. Yes, Vanessa? Okay. The pairs, well, those that haven't got the pair, I will write to them. The writing activity, you need to check and choose and finish. Yes, I can give you feedback until next week, this weekend. Yes, but for next week, it will have to be finished. Yes, so I will write that down here. So you have a draft, but the final version of the follow-up activity, of the follow-up writing activity, it needs to be next week as well, because I need to grade. And luckily, I have a lot to grade. We're running short of time. Final version of the follow-up writing activity due 11th December. I don't have any other day. Finish and upload your draft of a final project. Yes. For next week. Yes, and next week we will meet again and revise this activity again. Do you agree with that? Girls?
I'm lost.
Yes, teacher. I
Yes.
agree.
Okay. So are you there? So next week we will write, but you already have the instructions. So you have to start thinking of the project, but you will work next Thursday. We will explain things again and you will have time to work on that. Do you agree with this? Girls, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, so next class, we will talk about this final project again. Bring your ideas. I hope everyone connects and you can work. Yes, we can explain again and you can start working on Thursday morning. So you take advantage of the time. Yes? Okay, so for the time being, finish the past activities so that next week you can dedicate to this activity and to the project. Yes, project activity. Okay, if you're okay, or if you want to think or reread again something, read the activity again. I will go to the. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Necesito ir al baño, chicas, pero les dejo otra vez que lean lo de la actividad. Me dicen si tienen otra pregunta y ya la resolvemos, ¿sí? Antes de terminar. ¿Les parece?
Sí, vaya nomás.
Okay. Think of this. Okay, girls. Okay, so you will have this to think, but next week we will meet again. So do not worry. Phoebe, I need you to write to your classmates saying I'm going to send an email and a new link. I need everyone tomorrow in class again at 9 o'clock because nobody can be out of class when we are finishing the module. We really need to concentrate to get everything done. Is that clear?
Teacher.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so just send them a message. I'm going to write, and I need everyone in class tomorrow who's not here present today, because we really need to explain. We have lots of activities and we have a short period of time. So, okay, so we check that you have to finish the tasks and the portfolio. You include them and you upload them to, this will be week 14. If I am not mistaken. Yes, week 14. I can wait for you if you're a little bit delayed. I can wait for you, but be careful because you need to do something else. Yes, the projects. Then this is the writing work. No, this is the writing. Yes, the writing. Over here. Everything about writing will be here. Yes, I will rearrange things for me to understand. Okay. Then once you finish all of this, you can dedicate yourselves to working in the project completely. Yes, so let us try to finish all of this. And next week we will meet again, talk about the activity again, this integrated activity, and you will start working at that moment. Yes, do we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's better, I think, and we have a little bit of time in December, but you really need to work and be very, very proactive in your work. Yes. Okay, so the activity we will leave for next Thursday, but I need everyone connected next Thursday. Well, okay, girls, if you don't have any question or ask me a question.
Teacher, so is tomorrow everyone here or the next Thursday?
Next Thursday, we will repeat everything about the project. That's what I'm writing. Next Thursday, we will repeat, explain again. Requirements for the...
Es que me entró duda porque no te escuché como mañana, entonces por eso pregunté.
No, mañana, la clase de... sí, perdón. Lo que estaba diciendo de mañana, que Phoebe le anuncie a los compañeros que los que no vinieron hoy, los necesito mañana para explicarles todo esto. Yes. Ajá, sí, porque no podemos estar ausentes en un momento tan importante del semestre. No hay tiempo. Hay que terminar las cosas en este mes. Sí, no tenemos.
Ay, estamos llenos de cosas.
Sí, me imagino, chicos. Ni me quiero acordar de eso. So next Thursday, we will explain again requirements for final activity project. Yes? We revise again, but you already know you have the presentation in your heads. start thinking. Yes, save time and start thinking. Okay. Do you have any other questions that you would like to ask now? This point. Do you think you have everything clear? Anyway, next Thursday we meet again. Try to finish your writings. Try to finish everything for the portfolio. And next week we talk about the activity and you have better ideas and you can think of that. Yes, is that clear?
It is.
Okay, girls. All right, so I hope you continue doing okay. Write to me if you have any doubts. And I will see you next week, please. Yes or yes. Nice to see you, girls. Big kiss.
Nice. Take care.